Hello? Yeah, they're in my room now. Yeah, I know. They are such bad timing. I feel like shit today. Literally, I'm staring at them right now. Yeah, I know. They're looking kind of smexy today. I know I should have given them an update sooner, okay? I know. Sorry. Life's been pretty chaotic. They understand. You understand, right? I'm gonna update them now, so I can't. Okay, bye. Hello. I'm gonna be a little breathless today because she's been getting worse. Notes to keep me on track because I like to ramble. Because I have not been allowed out of the house since 2002. That's a lie. It's been a hot minute since you were last in my room, baby. Where the fuck have you been? I haven't had you here for a while. Honestly, it's been a bit of a wild ride recently. It's been a cowboy. No, it's not, but I wish I was a cowboy. I need to be a cowboy for the amount this journey has me going up and down on the buckaroo. That makes no sense. I have cowboys in my head all the time, actually. I'm basically having to not quarantine, but like keep a safe distance from people. I feel like I'm back in COVID. I've been wearing a mask everywhere, and honestly, I would really rather not wear the mask because I feel like an assassin. I don't enjoy it much, and I get very hot. I don't like it. I've basically just not been leaving the house because I don't want to get ill. I don't want to wear a mask. I can't win, so I end up just staying in bed. I've also been very tired. Anyway, not the point. Oh, I've got heart pain again. Fuck. Yeah, I'm a lot more breathless because we don't even want to talk about her right now. She's being naughty, but yeah, I will be breathless. Last time I saw you, I was waiting on a CT scan. If you don't remember that, why do you not care about me? Said CT scan has now been performed. Tickety-boo. Wasn't my favorite experience. Can probably rate it about 6.5 out of 10. Actually, that's kind of high. Oh, it could have been worse though. Yeah, 6.5. Let's go with that. So I was obviously worried because it's higher ionization. I've never had a CT scan, but I've had lots of MRIs. It was a lot more pleasant than an MRI. MRIs are very like confined and you literally have to lay there and it's just really stressful. And if you're claustrophobic, not fun. But I actually kind of like them sometimes. I just try and pretend that I'm in a burrito, living my dreams of being wrapped in all this barbecue sauce. Yeah, that's normally what I try and do, just zone out. CT scan was so quick, literally 10 minutes, so that was a lot better than laying there for an hour trapped in a burrito. However, let me just give you a rundown of the day, okay? I got there, I was fine. I didn't drink much water. I never really do before going to hospital because I need to pee a lot, but I'm anxious as well. I need to pee, and then when I drink more water, I need to pee a lot more, and I will just be in the loo the whole time. Weeing. I don't drink before hospital appointments because I'm a good girl. Sorry, I'm not funny anymore. I've lost my wit. So I got into my little gown and I looked all maxy in my little dress. Cute. The nurse called me over. Bear in mind, when I have an MRI, they sometimes try and put a cannula in. I fucking hate cannulas. I hate cannulas so much. I just have a little bit of a trauma with them. They've left a lot of scars. People are pretty rough with them. I love how good people are in the hospital profession. I don't even think that's how you say it. Let me have it, okay? Let me have it. But what I don't love is the way that they literally treat you like a piece of stale meat. They come over, inject you with something whilst talking over the ward to someone else. And I'm like, honey, hello, I'm a person. You are literally injecting me with something that hurts. Maybe don't just shove it all in my vein, which is like this big, and the amount of liquid you're putting in it is like this big. You know? So if you're a nurse watching this, please, for the love of everything human, take a bit of care, please. I know there's a lot to do, but if you're flushing out a cannula, baby girl, just go a little bit easy on it, okay? Because that shit can hurt if you do it too fast. That's all I have to say. Anyway, that's kind of the trauma about cannulas because when I was 14, people weren't very kind to me with my cannulas. So, strolled over to go and get my CT, whatever the heck I thought I was going straight for the CT then. And the girl was like, sit down in this little chair. And I was like, oh, dang, I know that chair. And I stood and I stared. So I'm gonna actually act out this situation for you. What's this? I see your little basket and trolley full of incredible cannula supplies. I don't want any part of this, thank you. Oh, fuck you. Oh. Have you asked them if I need this? I don't normally have those. Yes. Good, okay, sure, pop it in then, shove it in. But because I hadn't drunk water, my veins were nowhere to be seen. She had to stab around like a fencing tournament. See, my voice is going now. She finally found a vein. I had to sit there, drink loads of water because she was like, honey, you don't have veins. And I was like, yeah, because they run away when they see you with that needle sticking out. But she was actually really good at her job, to be fair. I even complimented on her. I was like, I mean, that hurt, but like, it wasn't that bad. You were really good. I asked her how she did it, and she was like, when she puts the needle in the vein, she kind of like slides it in and out a few times. Oh, sorry about that. instead of just jabbing the whole thing in as most people do. So she was very gentle. She was a good girl. Hats off to you. She was so pretty and smiley and lovely, and she was just excellent. Anyway, cannula was in. I went into the CT bit and they attached an IV of dye. I was dyed like a strand of hair. I didn't see what colour the dye was, but in my head I imagine it to be orange. It's like an iodine dye that apparently makes the image of your body like show up better on the CT scan or something like that. I don't really know anything. You lay down on this like little slidey stretcher thing. You put your arm above your head, and I can't remember what the other one was. I think it was like that. IV was in this little bit here, and this sort of was folded like that. Very uncomfortable, but is what it is. Could have been worse. Then they slide me back out the machine, and I was like, oh, excellent. It's literally been 30 seconds, and they didn't inject the dye. So I was like, cool, maybe I just didn't need it. And they were like, girl, can you calm down? And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And then my consultant, who I haven't seen for ages, came round and she was like, are you okay? And I was looking at her like, yeah, fine. I'm just fine. And she said, well, your heart rate is 110 and it's just going up. And I was like, oh, really? I don't know why that's doing that. And she's like, we need you to calm down because we can't take the scan with it being like that. And I was like, bear in mind, I haven't seen my consultant for so long and I had so many questions I needed and wanted to ask her. They were all rushing through my head as I was laying there, confused as heck anyway, because I was just being weird. And then they all came into my head and I was like, fillings, do I need fillings? And she was like, yes. And then I said, oh, what else did I say? Is the surgery still going to be in a few weeks? Bear in mind, this was a couple weeks ago now, maybe like 2 weeks ago. And she was like, no. What do you mean no? I've been quarantining-ish, not really, but like I've been away from people. I've been getting my bedstead, is that even a word? I don't know. I've been getting my home. I've been getting everything ready, mentally preparing for a surgery in a few weeks. And here you are saying no? What's happening? What? You can imagine the shock. She said, you are an ordinary girl who can live an ordinary life. Bruh, I can't. I have no energy. Like my voice is already breaking and I've been speaking for what, like 5 minutes? Is that normal? I'm so out of breath all the time. I'm tired. I get these migraines. Girl, I can't even walk up the stairs. So I was like, what about my symptoms? And she's like, oh, that's just stress because you have a surgery coming up. But the symptoms were there before I knew I was having surgery. That's how we ended up in this position having surgery because, I think she maybe mixed me up with someone else. I don't know, honestly. But it made me not happy, I tell you that. And then she said that my heart rate wasn't calming down, so she put beta blockers in my blood to calm my heart down. Then they shoved me back in the little donut hole. I've never had dye before. I've never had it. I've always managed to escape it. So I didn't know what it was going to feel like. But they said it was going to feel warm. That's fine. I don't mind a little bit of warmth. They basically counted down and they were like, yep, we're about to inject it. And I was like, but no, it isn't. I think I just had a bad experience. When my arm was up, the needle had rotated through the freaking vein. I didn't even know that was possible, so that was fun. It stung so much. A whole load of bees in a mushed up, hot, that's what it felt like. And then it was going up here. I obviously had to keep my hand there. I was like, fuck, this hurt. I mean, character building for sure. You know in the superhero comics, when they have like a bitten by the spider from Spider-Man, I don't know, they just get their powers. It comes up their veins and they're screaming like, that's how it felt. I felt like a superhero transitioning into a superhero. So that was, you know, fun. But I literally felt like the Hulk transitioning. And as soon as it got here, the nicest feeling, like a warm hug from your favorite celebrity in the world. But like warmth going everywhere, like it went up my head. It was lovely warmth, lovely warmth. Oh shit. Did I just pee myself? I genuinely thought I peed myself and it kept going. I'd had water before to get the cannula in. Hadn't weed since then. This warmth down there, it genuinely felt like I was peeing. And I didn't know what to do about this. Just peed in a CT machine, gosh dang. When they finally got the images, they pulled me back out and a guy who was like roughly my age started taking all the wires off me and everything off from the ECG. And I said to him, I'm really sorry. I think I might have peed myself. He was like, oh, no, you didn't do that, darling. It's just the feeling that everyone has. And I was like, what a relief. Then I came out of the CT bit, I met my consultant again. He was literally just passing, going somewhere else. Then she said to us, the surgery's not going to be for a while, but we are having a meeting tomorrow. It's like a multidisciplinary meeting where the surgeons and consultants and like a whole lot of other people all go together to figure out what to do with everybody. Obviously, we were like, we thought the surgery was going to be in a few weeks. Why have we been told this? What the heck? So we were a bit concerned. Yeah, it was actually kind of upsetting, to be honest. Okay, so we're back to square one, not having surgery. To be fair, I'm pushing for something I don't even want. Okay, I don't want it, but I don't want to feel like this for much longer. I don't think I can deal with it. My brain's not happy. But then I actually got an email the next day and the surgeons had decided they wanted to do the surgery within the next 4 weeks. Okay, so it is within the next few weeks and it was a very weird situation. I was like, I told you it was bad. But also then I was like, shit, this is actually happening. Because up until then, yeah, people kept saying it, but it wasn't for sure. So when we got that letter, I was like, Oh, excellent. 4 weeks from the sending date of that letter would have been roughly last week, this week. Here I am, no surgery yet, obviously. That's okay though. Since that letter, I've been going to therapy weekly. I think therapy is so good. I used to always think, I wouldn't talk to anyone. But this therapist I've been allocated through the NHS and she is amazing. The difference having someone external to your situation, just being able to speak to someone like that, oh, can't recommend it enough. She's also a cardiologist therapist, so she's used to cases like mine. Okay, you can probably tell since the beginning of the video, my energy's gone now. Oh. This happens to me a lot. I'm gonna grind through this video, but I'm sorry. The rest of the video is not gonna be as hyper because I am now feeling dizzy. I'm just a girl. And not last week, the week before, I was just chilling. Got a migraine, or what I thought was a migraine. Basically, I get migraines quite a lot more recently actually, since the valve's been failing. And usually I feel a bit weird and then a patch of my vision goes on one of the eyes and then it will be blurry. If you have migraines, you know what I'm talking about, but it's like a zigzag light and it starts as a C like that and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It takes over my whole eye and then I'll get a headache, numbness, and then I'm sick. That's pretty much how it goes. This was not a regular one. It just went straight into the C of a zigzag and it took over my whole eye, and then I felt a tingling like pins and needles in my right hand. This was all on my right side and it went all the way up to about where my little barbed wire scars are, and then it went numb. I was going like that to see if I could feel anything and I couldn't. Right lip went numb and my chin was like pins and needly as well. And then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna journal this because this is kind of weird. I was trying to write, couldn't really grip the pen properly, and then everything I was writing didn't make sense. There would be like random letters in the writing. I suddenly lost thought. I would be like, what's the word? And it would literally be the or something like that. I just kept saying the same thing over and over again and nothing was making sense of what I was saying, so it was really creepy. The next day, I emailed my hospital and I was like, look guys, this happened last night. Not trying to be dramatic, but what is this? They called me back within half an hour, which is crazy because normally like they're kind of hard to get hold of, and they were quite stressed about it and they were asking me loads of questions, and honestly I couldn't really remember. They were asking me timings and stuff and I was like, I don't know. So it was a suspected transischemic attack, I think it's called, which is basically a mini stroke. So that was actually terrifying because I was like, guys, I'm 24, like I don't really want to have a stroke. And also if it was a TIA, then it's going to be hard to have my surgery because it basically makes it very dangerous because it's likely that another stroke may happen or something like that could happen. So that was scary. Anyway, I ended up having to go to A&E. All the tests were done. We were there for a little while. They spoke to a stroke centre and they ruled it out as a hemiplegic migraine, which is basically like a really rare version of migraine where it's half of your brain just kind of goes into weird mode. I don't even know, but it's quite rare. Typical that I would get that, of course. Guys, I met my surgeon. I met the guy who's gonna stop my heart. That was a hell of a stressful day. We got there early because I wanted to be early because like these people are gods. These people are saving lives day in, day out. I didn't want to waste that time by being late. I was there an hour early, 5 minutes before going into the meeting. Realised we were in the wrong hospital because of me, because I misread the hospital. Oh, it was awful. And then we couldn't get any taxis and then it was just, oh God, so stressful. Anyway, we got there half an hour late. He was an incredible man. It's actually put me so much at ease. So if you're having a surgery, if you can meet your surgeon, recommend it. It's probably one of the first people to treat me as a person, but like a solvable case of a person rather than just seeing me as my symptoms or my condition. I was really scared of what he was going to say. I went there with a lot of notes and questions. I was quite set. I was like, I want a biological one because it's done me really well. I don't want a mechanical valve. I don't want to be on warfarin for the rest of my life. Problems with strokes and stuff. I already get these migraines. I just don't really think it's for me. Also, medication and blood tests all the time isn't good for my lifestyle. I'll do it if I have to. Would really rather not. He spoke most of the time, which I'm fine with because he was really good and explained everything really well. He ended up saying biological was not a good idea because at the moment he's been doing cases where like the biological's been put in a year to 2 years ago and he's having to redo it already. And obviously my body's had quite a few surgeries now, so he wasn't really willing to put me through another open heart surgery that quickly. I was really scared he was then going to push the mechanical because that's what most people do. They push the mechanical on the younger people. But luckily he was like, you're a young person, I don't really fancy putting you on warfarin. And I was like, he considered me, oh my God. So he actually came up with the idea, instead of having a mechanical, he said about the Ross-PEARS operation. So the Ross-PEARS operation, I didn't really know much about, to be honest. It's very new. He actually is like the pioneer of it. There's only been roughly 200 to 300 operations worldwide of the Ross-PEARS. So you have something called a Ross procedure and then a PEARS thing as well. So a Ross procedure is where you cut out the aortic valve and the pulmonary valve. You put the pulmonary in the place of the aortic and then you put a donor one in the pulmonary's place. The thought behind it is you're transplanting your own valve valve from a living to a living because it's yours. So there won't be any chance of rejection, hopefully. Because the pulmonary doesn't have such strong blood flow, it shouldn't need replacing as often because it's not under as much strain. If you need it replaced, it will hopefully be through keyhole, not open heart surgery. So it makes sense. The reason I was kind of against this at the beginning is because I didn't really want to mess about with 2 valves when I already have one that's messed up and an aorta that's messed up. And one of my sides of my heart is getting a lot thicker because it's been pumping, and then the other side's got a bit smaller. But he suggested it and he really put me at ease with it. The PEARS is like an external exo jacket support sleeve for the aortic valve going up to the aorta. Think of it like a little exo jacket built by Iron Man, just to strengthen it, to hopefully not allow for any aortic dilation. Makes you extra strong. So that's the one we'll be going with. I had a couple thoughts. I didn't want to be a guinea pig. It's extremely new, but I have extreme faith in him as a surgeon because he either oversaw or actually did the other surgeries around the world. He's such a good surgeon. I think he had a hand in even making the Ross-PEARS thing be a thing together. Obviously I am young, I'm only 24. In my age group in the UK, there's only been 5 to 10 operations of the Ross-PEARS. So I'm quite excited to be a rare person again, because obviously my condition when I was born was very rare. And even he said that to me. He was like, I've always heard of ABTs, but I've never met one. And I was like, hello, it's me, the ABT. I sound like a quad bike. But yeah, so I'm excited to be rare again. One of the 200 to 300 operations worldwide. I mean, that's insane. I'm gonna be super rare. The only thing that did kind of freak me out a little is the valve that gets donated is from a deceased human about my age. I don't know, that just kind of sat a bit weird with me because, you know, I'm sure you can really understand why. And it wasn't even something I thought I was gonna have like a little plastic valve in there. I didn't think it was gonna be from a person who's passed away around my age. So yeah, I've actually come to terms quite well with the idea of having a human transplant. It's made me have some major thought shifts about life, especially about after the operation, how I want to live my life. I now feel like once I've had that put in, I have a duty of care to that person who lost their life so young, and I can keep it going. It gives me a reason to care for myself more than I possibly would otherwise if I was just an ordinary person. If I drink or something, well, I'm just harming me. But if I have someone else's heart parts in there, well, it's not just me I'm looking out for anymore, it's 2 of us. So it's given me like a massive boost to really live my life. Definitely put on Seth for more, and if before I didn't believe that, then this has really made me believe it 100%. Extremely grateful. I'm gonna have to cut this video short. I have more stuff I wanted to talk about, but I'm so tired. My voice is going, I'm just tired. I'll just finish off by saying that later that day I had all the rest of my pre-operation things done. Bloods, an ECG. We spoke through the whole, like, what happens on the day, aftercare and stuff with the nurse, risks, and did some what are they called? Anaesthetist, is that a thing? The people that put you to sleep, essentially. I had to do all the exercises and show that my neck and jaw worked for them to put a tube down. There are different levels of urgency. P1 is being brought in by ambulance. Like right now, we need this shit right now. P2 is just below that, and then they go further down. So I'm P2. This meeting happened about 2 weeks ago now, on the 28th of April. My surgeon sent off then for the little exo jacket upgraded parts. They're being made for me right now, personally fitted, and I've literally just been waiting every day, checking my emails to see if it's been made. Apparently the surgery is expected to be in mid-May. However, we are now 12th of May today. When is mid-May? Like the 15th to the 20th sort of time? So that was when it was expected. So it's just a waiting game. I'm exhausted. I'm looking more symptomatic now. Don't look like myself. There's been a few times recently I've gotten quite upset because I've looked in the mirror and the person looking back at me does not look like me. My face is extremely puffed. I've always been known for having big eyes and they look smaller to me. And I'm not really acting like myself because I'm more irritable. I'm more tired, but I could be so much worse. So that's good. I hope you have the most amazing week. I'm gonna go and sleep now because I'm exhausted. Goodbye.